welcome to GLIAC Media Day 2011. I'm JJ Bain here with a preview of the Ferris State University Bulldogs. I'm joined by their head coach, Jeff Pierce. Jeff, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And you and I were just talking about this before we went on the air, but kind of an interesting season for you guys last year. You finished with 5 victories. They all came in a row there towards the early part of the season, and I know you'd like to have a little bit more consistency coming up in 2011.
No question about it. I mean, we bounced back off a very challenging year the season before. You know, it was nice to get the program back on track. And finishing off the end of the season, you know, we were losing those close football games rather than winning those close games that we were able to pull off earlier. But, you know, we've got a lot of work still to do, you know, with our football team, and we got the majority of those guys coming back, and they're all a little bit hungry and got a little chip on their shoulder, and that's a good thing.
And always a luxury for a coach to have his starting quarterback coming back, which you do in Tom Schneider.
Yes, there's no question about it. I'm really excited to be able to watch him play his senior year. He's a very committed and competitive young man. I mean, he has really gotten into his comfort zone right now, and it's going to be exciting to watch him perform, you know, this year in that capacity.
And his comfort level has to be improved with the guys that he's going to have up front, because you've got some pretty heralded offensive linemen returning. Yeah,
we've got a good group on the offensive line. You know, we have 3 returning starters. One is a preseason All-American, Jake Hancock, a local kid from Big Rapids that I think is very competitive. And we've got a couple of other pretty athletic offensive linemen, young guys that had a little bit of playing time last year to filter in with those other guys. So I feel very strongly about, you know, our ability, you know, to be able to control a line of scrimmage, and obviously that's so important for your quarterback.
Of course, the other thing that helps is when you've got people to throw the football to, and he's got some of his top targets returning as well.
Yeah, both of our outside receivers, Damian Miller and Mike Ryan, are back. Those 2 individuals have put a couple years in on the field as starters for us in the program, and they'll be seniors this year. So, I mean, that's always nice to continue to develop in that learning curve and get these guys a little bit closer to being at the top of their game. So it's going to be fun to watch. You know, some of the growing pains that we've gone through in the past few years, hopefully we'll get an opportunity to take advantage of that this season.
You didn't run the ball a lot last year, but when you did, your top rusher was Skylar Stoker, and he's coming back also.
Yeah, Skylar's coming back. You know, that's a good thing. Again, it's watching people improve and grow, and you know, we're maturing as a football team. And as we changed offensive schemes a year ago, went into last football season, kind of our guys getting a feel for what we were trying to get accomplished, and it was fun to watch them in the spring, because now they're at step 2 or 3 now rather than step 1, and Skylar is the same kind of individual that's taking advantage of that. You know, he continues to improve and get more comfortable, very talented running back, and with our offense we're able to get the ball to our different playmakers in space, and you know, there's sometimes they'd be lined up in the backfield, and there's sometimes it'd be a slot receiver for us, and you know, we do a lot of screens. You know, maybe we don't run the ball quite as much, you know, when you look at stats, but a lot of our passing game is throwing the ball just a few yards to get it in the hands of a person like himself out in space, and let him go to work.
Switching to the defensive side of the football, again, you've got some familiar names returning there also.
Yep, we have right now 8 or 9 starters coming back, depending on whether one young man will be okay to go based on an injury and a surgery. But up front, we have 3 returning starters on the defensive line. We also have 2 returning starters at the linebacker position that played for us last year. A 3rd starter, Kyle Fitzpatrick, sat out last season because of an injury that he had in early camp, so he was redshirted. So basically he was a starter from the year before. So we have 3 linebackers coming back that have had a lot of experience, and then 2 or 3 defensive backs depending on the injury situation that will be coming back. So, you know, the nice thing is, again, I think we're maturing as a football team, and you know, it'll be you know, a lot has to do with injuries and your depth in your program, and hopefully, you know, we can be a little bit fortunate to not get really challenged in that area as we go through defensively.
Should we expect from the Bulldogs on special teams?
Well, we had to make a huge change last year. I mean, we struggled in special teams, in all different phases of it. Right now, as far as our kicking game, kickers and punters go, tremendous amount of competition in that. And we brought in a young freshman that I think is a very talented young person. I think it raised the bar up a little bit. We have 3 veterans coming back that meeting with our kicking coach, Doc Proctor, who was a former All-American in our program that had kicked a 62-yard field goal at one time on our team, is working with those individuals, and he's very excited about the competitive level that we have. And, that's all a good thing because you have to have competition. The other phases of special teams, putting the other individuals to go around the kicking game, we're reevaluating, the amount of time that we ask our starters to be in different phases. And I think we have to be a little more demanding in those kind of areas to make sure that you have the best 11 people on the field. But you have to be careful that they still have fuel in the tank at the end of the game to be able to play, everything you're asking them to do.
Well, we'll see if that all works together for you. And Jeff Pierce, good luck to you and the Bulldogs in
Thank
2011.
You. Thank you.
And we hope you have enjoyed this 2011 GLIAC Media Day preview of the Ferris State University Bulldogs.